Kim George here on the line. Kim, we are going to talk about fire preparedness and go bags. Now, this is interesting because this is the first time I've heard that term, but I think it sounds really interesting. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, this is the time of year when everything is actually getting a little drier. I know we've just had some weather recently, which is great. It's really helpful for the burn situation or the fire situation. But still, this is when things are drier. We've had a summer of warm days where everything does become dry and more vulnerable to fire. So it's good to be prepared. We're just suggesting that people have this whole preparedness plan in place, because if something happens and there is an evacuation, if it were an immediate thing, it's a lot of chaos and trying to figure out what do I need to grab. So having that preparedness is really helpful.
Yeah, that is very cool. I imagine that people sometimes trying to just take it all with them, and you can't really do that, especially if it sneaks up on you and there's an instant evacuation. So what do you recommend to go into that bag as some of the things you might need?
There's a lot of things to think about. First of all, ready.gov is a great website to find a checklist, and it's helpful to have that just to reference. But there's a lot of documents they recommend. They want you to bring your deed, insurance information, even your marriage and birth certificates. So knowing where those are, what I would suggest is having a list of things that you need to bring. Things like that, mementos, and then all your medications, your glasses. You want to bring extra clothes. You're going to want to change your clothes at some point. And then it's good to have 3 days, if in your house, just in case it is a shelter in place, it's a good idea to have 3 days of water and food just to be prepared. Who knows?
Right, wow. It's funny. That is a pretty extensive list just off the top of your head. That's a pretty good list right there. But I'm sorry, could you say again where people can go to check out that list that you suggest?
Sure, it's ready.gov, and it's actually a FEMA website that has a great list. It's really helpful. It also talks about pets. You have to think about your pets.
Right.
Do you need leashes, dog food? And then if you're scrambling in a hurry, you're more than likely going to forget something. So it's really helpful to have a list just to be ready. Hopefully we never have to reference that.
Absolutely.
But
so I do believe we have a little clip here, don't we, to take a look at?
Possibly. Actually, I was also going to talk about the ready.gov, or I'm sorry, ready.edso.org is the RAVE. So this is El Dorado County's site where this will give you the emergency notification. So it's really important that everyone in the community go to that. So you have that phone call or text, or you can actually select how you want to receive it. But if there is an evacuation, it'll get that information to you right away. There's also a new site called Perimeter, and I just recommend going to the El Dorado County website to find that, and it'll show you real-time information on different incidents. So if there's a fire in the area, it'll show you what's happening. The Sheriff's Department will enter information, and it's immediately available for you. Placer County also has something similar. It's called Ready Placer, and visit their website to find that information.
That is very cool. And then there is another one. I did a story on this a while ago about evacuation plans, which way to go and how that looks. I don't remember what the name of that website was, but that's important as well, right? To know which way you need to go, especially if you're here in the basin, because there's only, 3 roads getting out of here. So.
Exactly, and that's where these the RAVE is the website for El Dorado County, and then Ready Placer is Placer County. But they'll give you the notifications on evacuation information, and Perimeter will also really help out. You can actually see the map, and it'll show where, if you're here, different directions that you may need to go. It's good to have the idea in place. Like, if we can't go this way, then we're going to go this way. Or even another thing to think about is if we have to. If it's not going to be an option to evacuate, it's just for whatever reason that it's a lot of big crowds or whatever, have an idea of where to go. Maybe the casinos, that's going to be a safe place. Maybe a large parking lot, or an area where it's away from trees. It's going to be the beach. People say the beach, but someplace where you may have to retreat to if it's coming too fast.
Okay, yeah, I know that one of the places is the middle school near my house at Tahoe there. So yeah, that is really a good reminder. All of those are really good reminders, especially the go bag. That is very important. It's funny, people don't think about it till last minute, and it's good to be prepared and think about it before it all happens. If they just want to check out more general fire info, where can they go on that, Kim?
Livingwithfire.com is a great website, and it'll have a lot of the resources that you'll need there. And again, ready.gov is also really helpful with just the go bag information and just how to be prepared.
All right, we could talk for hours here. We're out of time here, so I appreciate you checking in with us. That is some really important information, and we will check with you next time, Kim.